Welcome to a special edition of Reflections, a program where we discuss values and virtues for the transformation of the individual and the society. I am Father George Ehusani. In this special edition, we will tell the story of Lux Terra, taking a pictorial view of Lux Terra in the last 14 years, and particularly in the last 10 years of the Lux Terra Chapel. The psalm that comes to my mind as I think of Lux Terra in the last 15 years and the chapel in the last 10 years is, "What marvels the Lord has done for us, indeed we were glad." Psalm 126 verse 3, "What marvels the Lord has done for us, indeed we were glad." Now, the Lux Terra Leadership Foundation is a multiple resource outfit and training facility of the Catholic Church. It was established in 2008 and formally registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission of Nigeria in January 2009. The Bishop of Lokoja is the chairman of the Board of Trustees, and other members are Professor Wale Omole, Professor Patutomi, Mrs. Bridget Isweli, Mrs. Chinyelu Amambo, Brigadier General Terry Wire, Dr. Mansu Juma, and myself. We lost Engineer Joseph Makoju, another member of the board, in April 2022. Our vision, Lux Terra's vision, is that we desire to see societies transformed into thriving and peaceful communities through the emergence of well-equipped, self-sacrificing leaders of integrity at all levels and in all sectors. Our mission: we are committed to the positive transformation of societies through the training and equipping of present and future leaders, and through such other formation, public enlightenment, and policy advocacy activities that are directed at enhancing the well-being and the common good of all. So everything we are doing is encapsulated in that mission statement. Now, this is the administrative office of Lux Terra in Abuja. And on April 30, 2011, the Lux Terra administrative office was formally opened, even though we could not begin to use the office because there was no road to that place. Now, in June 2013, the Lux Terra Chapel came into being, and we began to say Mass at this location in April 2013. And this is the interior of the Lux Terra Chapel. And there are pioneer members of the Lux Terra Chapel, because the first Mass was celebrated on Pentecost Sunday 2013. And these are some of the images from that first Mass 10 years ago, exactly 10 years ago. Now, on November 1, 2013, the then Cardinal Archbishop of Abuja, Cardinal John Onayekon, came to dedicate the Lux Terra Chapel. And these are images from that dedication of Lux Terra Chapel. March 2020, we had the COVID-19 pandemic, and there was a lockdown. On account of the lockdown, we could only meet, only 20 people were allowed in one space. So, while many other churches could not hold masses, celebrate masses, we continued to celebrate Mass, but with fewer people. And that necessitated our quickly looking for resources to build a tent so that a few more people can be in the tent while a few people are in church, and we link them by television. And so we built a tent, and within a few months we had a tent that we were using, and it was an annex to the chapel. Now, over the last 14, 15 years, we have done a number of things. Now, the promotion of evangelization and the dissemination of nation-building values through the mass media. And one of the areas is the chapel and the activities of the chapel. We broadcast Sunday masses, we broadcast Sunday homilies on a number of TV stations. Now, and we have done this beginning with AIT, now with Lumen Christi, and we have Kaftan TV, Viewers TV, Quest TV, NTA Kefi, NTA Abakaliki, and some other radio stations that have broadcast our messages. And I have been assisted in this by Father Dominic Adeza, Father Emmanuel Ojefo, Father Richard Ehusani, and a number of parishioners that have helped to celebrate the masses and get the masses recorded and broadcast. The administrative secretary of Lux Terra and catechist of the chapel is Mr. Greg Ayemo, who marked 82 last year, and these are pictures from his 82nd birthday. He is still going strong. He has worked with me for 31 years. Now, these are images from the various activities of the chapel, at Mass, at group discussions, various events. You will see images from the chapel. And of course, music is very important for us in the chapel. So, Father Richard, myself, and Dr. Suide playing the guitar, the choir there, various engagements at the chapel, including Thanksgiving, blessings, and the Lux Terra children that have made us so proud. The Lux Terra children who answer questions, and people from all over the world who watch our programs talk about them. These are the children of Lux Terra. Among the children of Lux Terra, there are two that are very popular: Ekene Ekwem and Weyemi Baro. From the time they were 6 or 7 years old, they were answering questions brilliantly in our church, to the extent that in 2016, they received letters of commendation from the children of Caritas Freetown, Sierra Leone. And we made a public show of that letters of commendation that they got, and the children were very proud. And many more children wanted to start answering questions at Lux Terra. Now we have Lux Terra retreat, annual retreat for youths and children, and it happens in August. We bring together about 40, 50 children. Sometimes we have up to 100 of them, and we do a 3-day retreat. Catechesis, evangelization, leadership development, conduct, good Christian conduct. These are the kind of topics we deal with, and it has become fairly popular. These are the children at the last retreat of last year. The next engagement that is for evangelization and the transformation of society is the Reflections. This particular program that we're having a special edition of, Reflections, we have we air it on AIT, we air it on Lumen Christi, we air it on Kaftan TV, Viewers TV, CTV, Quest TV, and so on. And we are constantly working with professionals, men and women of integrity that we invite to the studio to discuss issues of national concern, to discuss issues of the faith and the interface between the faith that we profess and our national life. So we see there Professor Anibogo, Femi Falana, Professor Dinkalu, Professor Karik, clinical psychologist, Most Reverend Godi Ona, Bishop of Unsuka, and Eugenia Abu, veteran broadcaster. We also see there Professor Patu Tomi, some young people from Canada who are with me in the studio. They just wedded. Professor Ise Sage and Kinga from Kirche Not in Germany. These are among the people that we have interviewed over time. Next is that Lux Terra has a daily responsorial psalm on TV. Our staff, Ifoma Ngodua, composes the responsorial psalm for each day, and it is aired particularly on Lumen Christi and social media platforms. We have an online radio. We call it Lux Terra radio.com, and if you Google, you go to luxterraradio.com, and you can listen to our online radio with a number of programs. This picture shows some of the back-end staff of Lux Terra, some of the technical team that are responsible for a lot of the recording and broadcasts that we see. And Lux Terra was the first Catholic church in Nigeria, as we know, that started simultaneous sign language translation. And the picture you see there is a picture of Peter Bodu, who is our sign language translator. From about 2015 till date, we have had simultaneous sign language translation coming along with our homilies. And we're very proud of this. And we are praying that many other churches will follow suit. The next category of programs of Lux Terra is the trainings, leadership trainings, trainings to promote integrity, trainings to end and eliminate sexual and gender-based violence, all kinds of trainings. But let's begin with leadership training. We have leadership training courses that we have had since 2008 to this day for various categories of people. We have leadership trainings for cohorts of bishops. A number of priests from various dioceses have attended leadership training with Lux Terra, and we'll see the images now. These are initial faculty members of Lux Terra, and we begin to see the trainings. One is training of secondary school students. We are very good these days in preparing the SS2 students for the function of prefects of secondary schools. So we are associated with several secondary schools across the country, particularly Benue and Plateau and Kaduna and Anambra and Ebonyi and Kogi and Niger states, Nasarawa states, where the schools we're associated with in these states, we prepare them for appointment as prefects. So these pictures show our encounter with various secondary schools and their prefects. Then we have encounters with university students, particularly Veritas University, but also other universities where we go to speak to the students on leadership and on Christian conduct and the kind of conduct we require for better citizenship and for better future. We also run workshops for teachers of secondary schools. After doing workshops for students of secondary school for a number of years, then there was the need to run workshops for the teachers so that the work can be continued after we finish our own by the teachers. We have run workshops for university lecturers. The pictures you see here were pictures of staff, senior staff of University of Abuja. We have also run for senior staff of Veritas University workshops on how to raise young people today in this digital age, the challenges that come with it and how to surmount those challenges of raising young people in the contemporary world. We have had trainings, corporate executives. We have done a number of corporate executive training. Since we're a leadership institute, this is one of our signature programs. Now, you will see pictures now of bishops that we have trained over time and priests from Kano to Lagos to Ogo and Oka and several of these dioceses, their bishops have attended our trainings. And then we have priests of various dioceses that have taken part in the Lux Terra training, as you can see in the pictures. Also, superiors of religious congregations superiors of the MMM sisters, of the Handmaid sisters, of Immaculate Heart, of Sacred Heart sisters, of Daughters of St. Paul, of DMMM sisters, sisters of St. Michael the Archangel, and so on, have attended our training. We have also had encounters with the National Council of Men and Women Religious. These are images of such trainings that you can see. Next is our training of experts in psycho-spiritual therapy and counseling. In 2013, we set up the Psycho-Spiritual Institute for English-speaking Africa, and the first campus was in Nairobi. It is a program to produce master's degree graduates in psychotherapy and spirituality in an integrated manner. Just recently we had the 8th set graduating, and there are people from across Africa, from South Africa to Sudan and South Sudan and Burkina Faso, Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Kenya, Tanzania. We have had students from all this in our institute in Nairobi. And the graduates are helping people to come out of all kinds of psycho and emotional challenges, including depression and trauma and burnout and some of the issues that are serious today in our world because of the challenges of violence, of poverty, and so on and so forth. You need people to accompany them, and they are better accompanied when the experts are not only psychologists but also spiritual persons. Then we have the psychotrauma healing skills training. The psychotrauma healing skills training is another element of the Lux Terra engagement. We train professionals and experts, doctors, psychologists, social workers, imams, pastors, and volunteers. It includes teachers, policemen and women, and so on and so forth, to help with the worsening trauma circumstances of a lot of our people. A lot of people are suffering trauma in our society, and we need professionals and volunteers who are skilled in helping people with trauma healing. And Lux Terra since 2015 has been doing regular trainings in this area in collaboration with Nasarawa State University Department of Psychology. These are graduation pictures after 1 full week of training and 6 weeks of practical counseling experience. Not long ago, I was at the Catholic Institute of West Africa to run a workshop on how to integrate spirituality and psychotherapy, the imperative of psycho-spiritual counseling to the staff and the students of the Catholic Institute of West Africa. On account of our work, the work we have done over the years in this area of psychotherapy, in this area of psychotrauma, on account of that, the Nigerian Psychological Association gave me an honorary fellowship in November 2017. Next area of engagement is the promotion of interfaith dialogue. Lux Terra has an outfit that we call Interfaith Activity and Partnership for Peace. I am a co-convener. Sheikh Nuruddin Lemu is a co-convener, and we bring Christians and Muslims together and teach them skills for interfaith dialogue, especially within our circumstances. The Christians in Nigeria cannot wish the Muslims away. The Muslims can't wish the Christians away. So we have to find a way of getting along. And that is why it became necessary to set up the activity and interfaith activity and partnership for peace. And since then, we have been running a lot of programs on interfaith dialogue skills, interfaith mutual understanding, and peaceful coexistence. Between 2012 and now, we have had several such trainings that combine Christians and Muslims coming to Lux Terra and interacting and seeking mutual understanding and seeking skills and mechanisms for dialogue. Now, Lux Terra also has a program called Using Religious Institutions and Networks and Resources to Fight Corruption and Promote Integrity. In the last 5 years, we have done a lot in this area, training religious and community stakeholders, training students, training youth corpers to use their religion, because neither Islam nor Christianity promotes corruption in any way. Christians that are corrupt are not good Christians. Muslims that are corrupt are not good Muslims. And so we have this project to challenge the Muslims to use their faith to promote integrity, and to challenge Christians to use their faith to promote integrity. So now and again we bring different cohorts, different groups to come and spend 1 week or 3 days to learn mechanisms and skills to promote integrity in Nigeria and work against corruption. And at the end of each one of our trainings, we make people take a pledge, an oath, never to be engaged in anything that is seen as corrupt, any actions that is interpreted as corrupt. So there are students involved, both Christians and Muslims. There are youth corpers involved, both Christians and Muslims. We even have the Director General of the Youth Service call at a point, visiting us and coming to encourage his members who are with us. Then we are engaged with school teachers, still on the promotion of integrity. So several schools we are engaged with, and we bring their teachers together and train them so that they can more effectively do this work in their schools to raise children and young people of character, of high academic standards and high ethical standards, character and learning. We have zeroed in the last few years. We are intensively accompanying and mentoring 4 secondary schools. 4 secondary schools whose names you can see on the screen, 1 Christian community and 1 Islamic community. Lux Terra is accompanying them intensively and mentoring them so that they can become centers of excellence in integrity. And then for the schools, also centers of excellence in academics. They include OLA Girls Secondary School in Akwanga, Nasarawa State, St. Peter's College, Garaku in Nasarawa State, St. John Bosco College Okene in Kogi State, and the International Islamic Academy, Madala in Niger State. We accompanying them. We spend like a week each term in these schools. We have a workshop with their teachers every year, accompanying them and give them skills and mechanisms for training their young people to be champions of integrity. We are also accompanying a church. It is Assemblies of God Church Community in Kefi, Nasarawa State, and Mawis, Center for Character Building and Promotion of Islamic Ethos in Mina, Niger State. We are accompanying them. Every year, we bring them to Abuja to have a workshop with us for 3 days, and then they go back and implement what they have learned in order to raise their communities to centers of excellence in integrity. Next is that we have network and advocacy project, which is an engagement with multiple religious and community and civil society stakeholders towards preventing violence in Nigeria and towards the promotion of national unity and peaceful coexistence. So we have town hall meetings, we have think tank meetings, we have advocacy visits to critical Nigerians to discuss how this country will be preserved, how we can relate well, how we can be governed better, how people can be more engaged, civic engagement. So we engage students, we engage youth corpers, we engage religious leaders, male and female, Christians and Muslims. We are in collaboration with a National Orientation Agency in this respect. We are into a project on the elimination of sexual and gender-based violence. We train religious leaders and community stakeholders to work towards eliminating gender-based violence in Nigeria. And you can see we bring religious leaders, we bring community stakeholders together and discuss the dynamics, the evil of sexual and gender-based violence and how to end it. We are in collaboration with our Islamic partners, the Development Initiative of West Africa, in this venture. Then we have public forum and town hall meetings that we do hold on critical national issues, critical issues of church and state. from time to time. These are images from our regular public forum. There are other public policy and social advocacy activities of Lux Terra that we are involved in, not necessarily within our venue, but in different parts of the country, whether with lawyers and judges or with different civil society groups. Over the last 14 years, we have been highly involved. There is the mentoring, direct mentoring of people through the Lux Terra Friends. We have a group in Abuja that we call Lux Terra Friends that meet every month to reflect on how we can use our faith to become better citizens and build character and be champions of the transformation that we require in our society. These are pictures from the Friends of Lux Terra meetings. Lux Terra has a scholarship scheme for indigent children from the slums. The slums around Abuja are among the most poor places, most despicably poor places in this country. And then when we recognized that, we decided to get involved in helping to train children. So we are involved in a number of slum-based schools and support the teachers, support the leadership, and then grant scholarship to a few of those children. We have about 28 of those children now that are benefiting from our scholarship at the university level and at the secondary school level. And there are classes of children in some of those schools that we engage in feeding so that they can have nourishment for their studies. It's not only financial support. We meet with these children from time to time. Every Christmas time, we bring them together so that we can mentor them in character in addition to what they get in schools. These are pictures of myself with these children, and my colleagues also support me in raising these young people. In 2017, Lux Terra and myself, Father Ehusani, won the prestigious Konrad Adenauer Prize for International Development, and I was invited to Berlin and presented with the prize in recognition of the various activities of Lux Terra over the years. Now we have a sampling of Lux Terra publications. The various projects we have been involved in, we have published books, curriculum and facilitators guide on fighting corruption, promoting integrity, Islam and the challenge of corruption in Nigeria. We got experts to put together how Islam abhors corruption, Christianity and the challenge of corruption in Nigeria, another publication. And then we have produced Preventing Violence Against Women and Girls, an Islamic perspective, Preventing Violence Against Women and Girls, a Christian perspective, and a resource material for training people on the elimination of sexual and gender-based violence. Then we have Nigeria Models of Integrity, pamphlets, small books in which we highlight people who are making a great effort in Nigeria, in spite of our circumstances, to live lives of integrity. We project them. We call it Models of Integrity. We have video documentaries, and also we have books. We are right now actually on the third and fourth volume of these Models of Integrity. Then we have collaboration with a number of agencies within the country and outside the country, particularly the universities. We are collaborating with Veritas University, Nasarawa State University, Catholic University of Eastern Africa that awards the master's degree, Veritas University certificate course in our professional courses, Nasarawa State University, KEFI, certificate course for our psychotrauma healing skills project. And in recognition of my colleagues, the staff, the full-time staff of Lux Terra at the Abuja office, we have many volunteers, but these are full-time staff of Lux Terra, and they include Musa Eltani, Muslim staff, Majid Dahiru, another Muslim staff who help us in carrying out our work. These are images from the full-time staff at the Nairobi office of Lux Terra, who are helping us to run our outfit there. And we have staff working remotely from the UK, Father Dominic Adeza and Dr. Joanna Nwosu. In case you want to support Lux Terra, you can find our account details there. We are doing a lot. We believe we are doing a lot for evangelization in Nigeria and for leadership development in Nigeria, highlights of which we have just shown in this program. If you want to support us, please, our account details are as follows: Lux Terra Leadership Foundation, Eco Bank number 1623254145. We shall be most grateful if you support our work. And I want to thank you for watching us and listening to us, and for the support we get by your simply watching our program Reflections each week. God bless you.